Awesome, guys. Well, we have about 19 to 20 minutes. Well, I have about 19 to 20 minutes, and you guys know how I am with staying within the time frame. It's very challenging, but I'm very excited because I've had some massive realizations. I talk a lot about awareness, right? I'm always talking about awareness. I'm always talking about understanding placement and timing. I'm always just talking about, are you doing the action that you should be doing in a time where action will bring massive results? And I came to this realization, I would say a couple days ago, reflecting as a leader on how to take everyone to the next level. And it really wasn't to today. And this is something that's important. Take this as a note. If you're currently reflecting over your business, reflecting over your account, sometimes the information, the answer isn't going to come right away. And do not get discouraged, because if I was like, oh, I don't know, maybe I'm right, maybe I'm wrong, whatever, I'll just, I won't even think about it. We wouldn't be having this conversation right now. But I took so much time into this thought process, and I think each and every single one of you are going to appreciate it, because now you're going to have the ability to see where you're at now and where you're going to be in 6 months. Where you're at now and where you're going to be in 6 months on a short-term goal. And we did this. You guys remember last year in July, right? I prepped us an 8-month goal, or whatever it was, 9-month goal, to February for the London convention. We are at that time frame again, prepping us for the end goal 6 months from now in Houston. But I want to go over a couple things. I'm going to make this quick. I want to get right to it because I've already killed 3 minutes. So having awareness of timing, right? Having awareness of timing and understanding where you are right now is huge. We are officially less than 6 days away from New York. We're officially less than 6 days away from New York. And the topic of, I wouldn't say the topic, but the title of this convention is March Madness. Smack dab right in the middle of March, prepping us for the 6-month push to Houston. So I want to go over why New York is so important. I want to go over, the importance of not only being there, and if you can't be there, I understand, right? Actually, I really don't understand. You have to be there, but understanding why it's placed strategically where it's at right now, why it's placed strategically where it's at. And I'm going to give you an amazing example of what happened in my reflection, or I guess, my reflection of thought. And so Dallas, right? Well, I don't remember exactly when Dallas was last year, obviously. And we brought about 90 people to Dallas. And this was insane. We've never brought that many people to a convention. And I remember Matt Rosa and Jason always saying, if you want to hit chairman, you must bring people. You must bring at least 100 people to an international convention. You have to bring people to a convention where it will foster belief, right? It will foster belief. It will create belief in your organization. And so that was our goal. We made it our main goal to have 100 people in Dallas. And at that time, Mike and I's organization was around 225 people. It was around 225. We were still Platinum 2000. The leg balance just wasn't where it needed to be to reach Platinum 5000 at the moment. But we were at 225 individuals. Now, leaving Dallas, right, our business went up to 720 people. It increased by 495. It increased by 495 customers in 2 weeks. I did the math today, looked through the back office. Mike and I talked about it. But why did it increase by 495 customers in 2 weeks, right? Because a lot of the times, I was thinking about this. I said, well, in Dallas, we increased by almost 500 individuals. In London, how come there wasn't that massive surge? The week after London? And I began to realize, why does David Amiti always say, it's not about the event? It's never about the event. It's about what you do prior and what you do after that determines the power of the event, right? Before Dallas, we went into a massive preparation mode, right? We had promos, we had trainings, we had opportunity calls. We were working and building to and through the Dallas convention, right? Now, when I look at London, right, it was a little bit different because we had leaders traveling around Europe. after the convention, we had people still in Europe. There was the jet lag. There was things. A lot of our eyes transitioned instead of momentum. It transitioned to New York, which there's nothing wrong with that, right? But it transitioned to the next event. And this is where this became really important because it really saved a lot of people's business, right? It really saved a lot of people's business because a lot of you brought 10, 15 people to London. And you're asking, well, Tim, you told me if I brought 10 people to London, right, I would hit P1K. But my business didn't change. Some did, some didn't, right? But there was no preparation. There was no preparation. And so what we're developing here is something that's going to blow your mind over the next week, and it's going to be super, super powerful. So let's go back to the numbers. Let's go back to the numbers and talk about why preparation is important. So if we look at a growth of 495 people and we divide that by 90, that means that every single individual that went to Dallas grew their business by 5.5 people. By 5.5 people. Right now, we're currently at about 150 people going to New York, right? The goal is 300. The goal is always going to be 300. But right now, we're at about 150 people going to New York. So let's do some math, right? Let's do 150 times 5. 150 times 5. That's 750 new people in QC by the end of March. 2 weeks, right? The 14th to the end of March. That's 2 weeks. 750 people. But what happens when you prepare? What happens when you prepare? What happens when this week, for 4 days straight, we do a chairman boot camp where every single night we're going to teach you how to build the business, and every single night we're going to teach you how to have chairman charts, right? What happens if we prepare for the event? It's not going to be 750 people. It's going to be 1,000 people. In 2 weeks, QC is going to generate 1,000. Listen to me here. Listen to me here because you have to feel it. You have to feel it because some people are listening, but some people aren't feeling, right? If you're listening, you have to feel this because when I say QC is going to generate and create 1,000 new family members, and if you don't feel it, guess what? You will not receive it. It will not happen in your business. It will happen in someone else's, right? It will happen in someone else's because regardless, it's going to happen. I've stated it. I've written it down now. I've gone over this call multiple times in my head and with multiple different leaders. I talked about it this afternoon. I talked about it right before here. I've been thinking about it all weekend, and now I'm telling it to you now because QC is going to grow 1,000 people in 2 weeks coming out of New York. So how does this happen? How does this happen? And David Amitié says it best. When belief is high, right? When belief is high, results are high. What does that mean, right? He says you have to raise the bar in your business. You have to raise the bar in your business. What does BAR stand for? Belief, action, results. Belief, action, results. So why New York? Why New York? Right? I talk about the A's all the time, and I'm giving you the awareness part, right? The awareness part I'm giving to you. That's the hard part. I'm giving you the hard part. You have to do the easy part of showing up, right? Because when you show up, you've now placed yourself in the right atmosphere, which thus has given you the correct attitude, which thus allows you to take the action to get the results. So New York is going to allow us to raise the bar. And this is the coolest thing about awareness, guys. This is the coolest thing about awareness is when we put 1,000 people in QC over the next 2 weeks, really from the 14th to the 31st of March, I don't even know how many days, 30 days in March, it doesn't matter. When we put 1,000 people in 2 weeks, because the average person is bringing anywhere between 3 to 5 people, right? And we have 150 people going to New York, and the average person coming out of a convention brings 3 to 5 people, QC is going to put 1,000 people in. Now remember, a rocket ship is a rocket ship, but a rocket ship doesn't take off if it doesn't have that initial throttle. We need New York to have that initial throttle. An airplane's an airplane, but it's not flying if it doesn't take off. We need New York to take off. right? You can have a bicycle in your garage. You can have a car in your garage, a motorcycle in your garage, but something has to start it to get it moving. That is what New York is, because look at this, guys. Look at this. We leave New York, and what's 90 days later? What's 90 days later? And I just found this out today. I knew about it, but I found out today. I love how everything works. In June, 90 days from New York, there will be a Platinum 2000 retreat with myself, Mike, John Guaman, Cash Cartier, Alex Morin, Jason Brown, and Matt Rosa in Miami. You're going to be on the jet skis. You're going to be in the houses. You're going to go to a club. I'm not bringing my credit cards this time, right? You're going to be at the Platinum 2000 retreat. I hear people screaming, let's go. Yeah, exactly. Because every single person on this call is already there. Now, guess what happens? Guess what happens 75 days after Miami? Houston, right? So look what's happening here, right? Because where you look is where you're going, right? Where you look is where you're going. David, he talks about your eye gates, right? You have to say yes to your eyes, your eye gates, where you're looking. We're going to New York with 150 people. We're creating 1,000 new family members. We've taken off. And then you know what happens after that? All eyes on P2K. You know what happens on that? All eyes to Houston. Now, preparation, right? Preparation is the highest form of faith. This is a fact. And a lot of people are like, well, Tim, like, why prepare? Like, if you don't have to know the how, right? But preparation is the highest form of faith, and it's the highest form of belief. Let me tell you why. Because when you prepare for something, you have accepted responsibility of what you desire. You have accepted responsibility of what you desire. The outcome is accepted. You have received it. I say we want, the team wants 1,000 people in 2 weeks. Therefore, what has to happen? I have to prepare. We have to prepare for that massive surge, because it's one thing to bring 1,000 people in, but it's another thing to keep 1,000 people. Think about this. What happened in Dallas? It grew by 495 people, but it didn't stay there. It didn't stay there, right? Some teams actually became smaller than what they were before Dallas, right? Why? Because there was no preparation. There was no preparation. There was no a sense of awareness. There was no acceptance of responsibility. There was no forward action to handle that massive growth. But here is what we decided to do. Here is what we decided to do, because I believe, your leaders believe, our mentors believe that we're going next level. This is what we're going to do. We're launching the Chairman Boot Camp on Monday night. We're going to teach you how to properly launch the newest trader. In the trading session, we're going to go over how to break down the difference in why Trade House over other retail methods. We're going to break down how to actually plug people into the trading schedule. We're going to break down how to retain customers in your business, not for 30, 60, 90 days, but for 365 plus days. Tuesday, we're going to go over how to make a list, how to properly invite, the power of PS3 and the power of edification. Right after that, we're going to go over institutional basics so that you can teach people, right, how to actually break down institutional trading. Because it's one thing for us to educate, but it's another thing to duplicate. On Wednesday, we have the opportunity call that I always do at 7 o'clock. But right after that, we have the Next Wave mentorship call. I want to put something in perspective for you. Corporate asked Mike and I to do the biggest corporate call 3 days before one of the largest regional conventions to ever happen in the United States. They didn't ask David Amitier. They didn't ask Jason Brown. They didn't ask Matt Rosa. They didn't ask Manny Quiones. They didn't ask any of the New York chairmen. They asked Mike and I, right? Awareness. Let's pay attention to what's about to happen over the next 2 weeks, right? Let's pay attention. We're going to go over how to compound your account and your business at the same time. We are going to show the whole entire company, the largest ever participant Next Wave mentorship call there will be to date, how QC does it. Thursday night, we're going to go over a complete review of the week. We're going to teach you how to build your pipeline. We're going to talk about feel, felt, found, and we're going to teach you how to actually close. And on top of that, we're going to end the night with advanced top-down analysis by yours truly, Mike Navarrete. Right? The Chairman Bootcamp is the preparation. It's the preparation for 1,000 new family members by March 31st. Let's make sure there's actually 31 days in March. There is. All right, everyone in the chat right now. I am so happy and grateful now that there is 1,000 new QC family members by March 31st, 2020. It is done. It is already done. It is literally already done. Let's see in the chat. Let's see it blow up. Let's see it blow up. I have to see them. It's coming. They're coming. Ask and you shall receive, seek and you shall find, knock and the door shall open, right? I'm so happy and grateful now that there are 1,000 new family members in QC by March 31st, 2020. The game has changed. The game has changed. March will be the most important month. It will be the most important month of 2020. This month will determine, where you will be by the end of the year. This is the moment to make the decision. This is the moment to make the decision. This is the moment to go all in. This is your chairman run. This is it. This is it. I've walked on stage now. My goal done. 3 years ago, I set a goal to walk across stage as a chairman. At London, on stage, I set a goal for Houston to have 10 chairmen walk across stage with me. That's it. It's already done. The blueprint's there. The alignment is there. The awareness is there. The events are there. It is game over. Now, you have to make the decision to allow yourself to receive it. You have to make the decision to allow yourself to receive it. So, guys, I am excited. I can't explain how excited I am because the next 3 weeks, guess what? It's going to set the new tone for the rest of your life. It's going to set the new tone for the rest of your life because the week after that, we have trading calls planned for every single day. We have business calls planned for every single day. We have Forex and crypto calls planned for every single day. March is going to be madness. March is going to be madness. And your bank account is going to know about it. So guys, I am so happy and grateful. Please, please, please blow up the chats. Alex Morin is going to be joining us in officially 11 minutes. For 1 hour, he is going to be talking about making the Midwest 10,000 strong. If you do not live in the Midwest, it does not matter. Get on that call, take notes, and develop the blueprint. Develop the blueprint to make your city, your community, your area 10,000 strong. Because 3 years ago, Alex wasn't coming here. 3 years ago, Alex wasn't coming here. Oh, Mike, I can close the call. And I have another one open. Or I won't close it. But guys, stay on this call, never mind. We're going to go ahead and get started in 10 minutes. So I guess I got my Zoom links all messed up. We're going to go ahead and get started in 10 minutes. Make sure you get on this call. Promote it like crazy. I have a 500 max, and there's going to be about 6 teams on the call. So please, 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 please message your private chats, message your leaders, because at 500, it caps out. And I'm almost certain we're going to hit 500 in the next couple of minutes. So, guys, I'm going to turn my screen off. I'm going to get some music playing in the background, and we're going to run it up.